Steve O'Neill, are you the new member?
I am, yes.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay. I'm going to restart
Good,
now
how are
that I'm on Zoom. Welcome everyone to the January 18th, 2022 Design Review Committee. I'm Kathy Williams, the town planner, as this is a hybrid meeting involving both in-person and remote participation. I need to read the following statement into the record. This is to formally advise that according to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 18 through 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, signed into law on June 16th, the Yarmouth Design Review Committee will hold a public meeting on January 18th at 3:30 p.m. in Room A, Yarmouth Town Hall. Public is welcome to attend either in person or via the alternative remote access provided on the meeting agenda posted on the town website. For remote public participation during the public comment period for public hearings or at the discretion of the chair for public meetings, the chair invites the audience to comment. Online audience members can use the raise hand button to notify the chair. Dial-in audience members should press *9 on their phones. All audience members will be muted until they're recognized by the chair. Once recognized, audience members are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record. So as some of the board members are participating remotely, if you could take a roll call, Dick, that would be great. Establish quorum.
I will do that. Those here, Charlie Adams. Myself,
Charlie. Hi,
and online we have
Sarah Porter.
Steve O'Neill.
You might want to point out that Steve O'Neill is a new design
I was
review.
just going to say, well, Steve, welcome, Steve.
He's our representative from CEDC.
Yeah, happy to have you on board.
Glad to be here.
Looking forward to your excellent and creative input.
Thank you.
Okay, and our guests here are Jack Hines and Chris Wise
Yes, for the first
for
agenda.
the first agenda item.
And
Yep.
Eric Tolley,
Yes. And,
architect Eric Tolley.
oh, and Eric, I'm sorry, Eric Tolley's online as well. All right.
Hi, Eric.
How are you, Sarah?
How are you?
Well, thank you.
So again, this is for formal design review for VCOD SPR Wise Living Development. Christopher Wise is manager, 822 and 834 Route 28 and 30 Frank Baker Road. Won't bother with the assessors maps. It's an HMOD 1 road and VCOD VC2. In case anybody knows what those are. Redevelopment is being done under section 414 Village Centers Overlay District, which again is a VCOD VC2. Yeah.
No, I mean, you can introduce Eric. I believe he's going to give a presentation.
All right, so I'm going to go to you, Eric, and you can give the presentation of I guess the latest changes, right?
All right, thank you. I'm going to, Kyle was kind enough to do a dry run with me so that I could figure out how to share my screen with you all. So I'm going to attempt to do that now. Can you all see what I see?
Got it.
Yep.
All right, so the first page of the documents that have been provided to you is the site plan. No changes there, so we'll move on to the second page, which is the plans, or the elevations actually, that were approved by DRC back on June 23rd of 2020. And on that page, I have bubbled the areas that are of interest today and outlined for you in the bottom right-hand corner, 8 items that we are looking to receive amended approval for here today. This is kind of small, so you'll have to follow along with me, going line item by line item and kind of referencing the bubbled areas. The first area, am I able to zoom in here?
Yeah,
Just like
right there. You got it.
All right, so number one, and probably the most significant change, is revisions to the Portico share. We had originally had some grand ideas for this area, but as luck would have it, we found out, and Chris or Jack, correct me if anything I say is not right here, but we found out that we did not have the turning radius for a fire truck to pull into the entrance to the building and clear that Portico share. So we simplified it, as you can see further on in the drawings, and the idea was.
If I could just add to that, Eric.
Sure.
The original was gonna have a drive under Portico share.
Yes,
And so the whole design came with a whole other feeling, which is where we changed from the motif of the building. We then realized that you really couldn't drive under it, so then it became something you could maybe walk under or have something that stuck out. 3 times it got moved back to the point where we've got like 3 feet to change the entire facade, where the purpose was lost. So, you know, we're gonna rip apart the whole front of the building to add 4 feet out, which didn't do anything. So that's why this change came about.
so we modified it, as you see here. You know, the idea was to resemble something similar to what Aiden did a little bit down the street. Simplify a simple arched opening, working more with the facade of the building that's currently there, and trying less to reinvent the wheel. The second revision that we are asking for is to eliminate the cupolas along the east and west residential wings. There are a total of 8. We will be keeping the cupola that is on top of the main part, the front portion of the building right here. But we would like to eliminate the 8 that are on, actually 4 each on the east and west wings, for a total of 8. The third request we are making is to remove some of the exterior stairs that were originally approved. There were 3 sets, I believe. 1 at the northern end of each of the residential wings, and then there was 1 at the southern end, which I'm not sure is shown here, but there was 1 here, which is right here, and that was at the southern end of the western residential wing.
And if I could just add to that, Eric, when we made this original change, it was right when COVID hit. And we were all thinking about other means of egress. Now that, as I've been in the senior housing business for the last 2 years, one of the things you need to do is contain who comes into the building. So the concept of having staircases and home healthcare having access in and out of the building was actually, doesn't even comply with how you regulate a building having workforce coming in and out. So that was a knee-jerk reaction to when COVID first hit. And we had to figure out site coverage and everything to get these staircases in, which now are absolutely the worst possible imagined thing if you're trying to contain COVID or workforce that comes in. So that's why we eliminated those staircases, which were an add-on knee-jerk reaction to trying to do the right thing for COVID, which turned out not to be the right thing.
All right, number 4 on the list is these 5 casement windows on the front of the building right here. Fact of the matter is those face due south, and quite honestly, it just gets too hot. They're currently blocked from the inside just because of all the sun they get. So we're asking to be allowed to remove those 5 casement windows altogether. That was number 4. Number 5, I'll zoom in a little bit more. There are 6 elliptical windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that we're asking to remove from the front elevation. Number 6, and this is, again, this is small, and this is a small little detail. We're asking to remove the raised panels from these columns just to simplify construction and hopefully save a little labor and material cost there on those columns. Number 7, I'll have to zoom back out a little bit. Let's see. At the northern ends of the east and west residential wings, there are I won't call them stair towers, but they're stairwells. We had intended to carry the parapet roof across those. Those things are in need of some, they're in structural disrepair and are in need of some significant remodeling. So we have decided not to add any extra weight to those and to pull the roof back so that the new parapet roof will just be will stop right at this line, and the stair towers will remain flat roofed. And the last thing is the door and window configurations. If you move a little further into the plans, you will see that in most units, we have added a single glass swing door and 2 double hungs. The current second floors have sliders, and the current first floors have, they have gliding style windows, which are, I believe, the old aluminum frames. They don't operate very well. They're not energy efficient. So we are proposing, with the exception of the memory care units, to replace all doors and windows with new doors and double hung windows, with the exception of these units here from this point north on the eastern wing. We will be replacing with double hung windows and no exterior doors, because the way the code reads that the memory care portion of this wing is institutional, and for lack of a better way to put it, we need to make sure that those people can't get out. So the exterior doors aren't allowed. So
And if I could just add to that, Eric, what we
Absolutely.
did is we worked with the building department and got a demo permit. We gutted one of the units. We were hoping the sliders upstairs and these windows were potentially reglazable and workable. They're so gone that we really had to replace everything. So then we just had to look at what was below it and above it, and the commonality were the double hungs and the glass door. So in the first round, it was a slider upstairs and that was it. And downstairs were these big square windows that slid, but you couldn't even get them past a HERS rating test right now. So we had to replace everything, and that's why that predicated that design.
So that's really the extent of what we're asking for. We intend to keep the previously approved 3 components that were added for the modulation. The one being on the front and 2 others, one on the east and west sides. But that really is the gist of what we're asking for here today. So that's the conclusion of my narrative, and turn it over to questions if there are any.
Anything else from you, gentlemen?
Just on that entranceway, that small arch actually comes out, so it's covered.
Yes.
So you can't really see it there. It looks more like an eyeliner.
Yeah.
But there is still purpose for that. And in the original design, those are all windows, again, which are blocked up by shades, because it's just, you can't regulate the heat in those areas, hence the other area. So that there is a close-up of the entrance, which has a purpose to it, and comes out the 4 or 5 feet that we need to get coverage when people come in the building, instead of rebuilding the whole thing. If you've got another picture of what it was, you can see it better if there's more questions.
The only other thing is some of the minor changes we made because everyone's heard about the supply line and supply chain and not being able to get products. So some of that was driven by that as well.
Okay. All right, Charlie, questions?
No, I fully agree on the majority of the aluminum recycler on the
I'm sorry, I can't hear very well. Could you speak a little louder, Charlie?
Speak up, Charlie. Try to yell through that mask, right?
the mask doesn't help at all. this is going to be as is. This is pretty much the same as it was in the previous showing.
Correct.
On the overall.
Is that you or-
I'm doing this so I can see this. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, I did not do that.
No.
What happened?
You guys still there?
I'm here.
We lost our
And I'm
visual.
here.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we gotta.
There you are.
Audio, anyways, there you are. Okay.
Food.
I have no idea what happened.
Me at home, I got 3
More
clickers,
technology.
I'm like at work.
We lost everybody's face there for a bit.
All right, I'm sorry, I did not hear what Charlie had to say.
You're good with everything, right?
I'm good with
Yeah.
most everything.
Yeah, and what was your concern?
The concern is on the previous long view of the facility. We're going to be taking out the
Cupola?
Cupolas?
cupolas.
Yeah, what's,
And I'm not so sure that I like that.
yeah,
The other, it breaks up the,
Yeah.
it's a long building. And that kind of breaks things up. So I'm really feeling that they
I
should
was-
stay. But that's about the only thing that
I was gonna have the same question. Why are we getting rid of the cupolas?
That
So-
was one of those supply chain
Supply
things.
chain things?
Yeah.
Well, let's back into the conversation because it is worth it a little bit. I met with Shepley's, who supplies all my materials. And I said, this is what we want to do. And then they started to say, well, and I said, look, this is what I want to do. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
We're concerned about getting materials. And right now, there's a lot of materials that aren't available. And so they're trying to guide us through that. So we were just hoping to bring some of the scope down. The massing of the building in the back, none of it's visible from the road. And there's other features in the front, so the main visual is there. And then when you're down on the ground, you've got a pretty big dormer looking at. Can't really get a broad view, but it was both, we had all windows and doors that needed to get redone, and we have a supply chain issue that we were just trying to see where we could not have to get as much to get it done.
Yeah, that's the same reason with the windows, removing the arcs from the windows in the front. They become custom, and so the time to get them.
Couldn't even, they said,
What's
you want to
wrong
get our custom windows? They said, good luck.
All right, Steve, questions, comments?
All right, just going to ask, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what is in store for landscaping in front of the building?
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, there was a comprehensive landscape plan before, which there's quite a bit there now, actually, and they're filling in trees, if I remember right along the
Yeah,
sides.
we're removing parking and adding islands and trees and.
Okay,
So there's, and that we're not looking to change. All of that is as it was approved.
okay, thank you.
Sarah?
yeah. Can I see the front elevation again, please?
The entire front elevation, Sarah?
I'm not sure.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Oops, yeah, there we go. So, oops. Oh, I thought, yeah, so Kathy, you had a comment about those casements, I think, on the right that are going to be eliminated.
My concern was what visually it might look like by
Yeah.
removing the 5 when
I
it's such.
actually don't agree. I don't agree with you, by the way. I think there is so much going on in this building. It doesn't, actually, I like it better without the windows. The other thing is, I don't mind the removal of the cupolas a lot. Again, for me, it's like everything is so much in this building, textures, shapes. So that brings me to the portico. You're changing the portico, right? You're putting vertical siding and you're curving it. Is that true?
As proposed, yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering why you have to do all these curves. There's so many curves in this building. Why not just replicate the roof above and just have the three? I don't even know if you need that one large curve outside the portico, or have the curved portico, but get rid of that vertical siding with a higher curve. I just think it's so over the top. I would like to see the building simplified, and if that's the place to do it, no one's going to not know that that's the entrance. They're always going to know that's the entrance. I don't think you need to. There's already stone or brick. I don't know what it is. There's siding.
Right.
I would just like to see it simplified. That's me, and I know that I had suggested, and you put back the round window. Is that there already? That round window?
That is not there, no.
I'm just wondering why you have to have more curves when there are so many curves, and just keep this a little simple. That's my opinion. I feel pretty strongly about it. If everybody else disagrees with me, then that's okay. I'll go with it, but I just find it way too much. Just repeat the triangular shape, have that portico go straight across. I don't know, just something to simplify it. Like, the other thing is,
I'm not sure, we're trying to get back to, before the originals, they're coming for some changes to what's already been approved. I'm not sure we want to go backwards from what's already been approved.
Yes.
Beyond what they're
but
looking.
this is different than what was already, this was not presented to us with the changes that could I see what we approved last time?
It was much, it was even
I
more,
wanna
it was even
There's
more.
much more lap.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at least there's no more curves. It's the curves that drive me totally bonkers. Sorry, that's unprofessional. I'm no longer an architect, so.
You're allowed to say it, right? Retired.
I don't know how you can't modify it and keep the angles. As I said, there's just so much going on in this building. I
sure.
was so happy to see some elimination of all these half-round windows.
What do you think about the cupolas, Sarah?
I think one cupola is fine.
Okay, so
I
we're
don't think
reduced
we could need a bunch of cupolas.
cupolas apparently, and you're good with that.
I think one cupola is just fine.
Okay, all right.
It says this is the entrance. Is that, there's only one cupola in the current plan, the new proposed
I
plan?
think there's still.
There's just one.
Just
one.
one. There's actually a
To me-
small second one
It's on
on the left.
the,
To me, that's fine, but don't add any more curves where there aren't any. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
I'm with her.
I mean,
We're good with that.
We're fine going back to a simpler version of what was
Oh,
originally.
please, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we could.
That's
we
my,
could eliminate
that's
there.
my obviously strong opinion.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, anything else?
And I'm glad that the columns aren't as hefty in the newer version, because these on the one that we approved last time, the columns are so huge. So anyway, in my opinion, I know there are other comments I have, but we've already approved it, but I just think simplify, simplify, simplify. Everybody's gonna know where that entrance is.
Oh,
Don't
she's
need
definitely
any more.
side.
I got a something to add if I could.
Yep. Okay.
Well, one thing that Eric and Jack and I were talking about earlier that I seem to recall, and I brought some samples, but I don't think we need to do it. But before we actually execute with color and verticals or horizontal lines, Sarah, I thought we were
Yep.
gonna present you guys with a final. And so
Yeah.
that's still on the table. So it's not that we need to reopen it, but we're all on the same page to making it toned, proper, simple,
Yeah.
clean. And as far as your, more of a gable in there instead of an arch, that's an easy thing to do. We've got the platform, the canvas is right there to draw on. And
Yeah.
Eric can detail that. So
I
I'm
know only
suggesting
one-
that we can
okay,
still
I'm
review
sorry.
this before we execute
Yeah.
with lots of textures.
Okay.
Yeah, the other thing is, I'm just one person. That's my opinion. The other thing is, now that you brought up colors, again, there's so much going on in the building that, to me, to keep the colors as simple as possible, because there's so many different sculptural forms here. To start adding color, to me, that's just my opinion ahead of time. That's my opinion. I feel strongly about it, but whatever you decide to do, I'm not going to object to.
And that was our intent, was to simplify the call, when you guys, before you guys last time, it was to minimize the number of colors. Originally, we'd
Right.
broken it up with color as
Oh,
well.
was it? I can't remember. Yeah.
No, I think
I
as
can't
much.
remember what happened yesterday.
You've got colors as you.
Yeah, we're gonna use
Yeah, I think
tans and
we're-
grays and
I
white.
think we, at that time, felt the same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we were gonna
Yeah.
final present to you to get the right feedback, because we're all on the same page, but here it is final.
Yeah,
And that we will still produce before construction starts.
yeah.
I don't know.
Was this built in the 80s
Yeah.
or very early 90s?
What's that, Sarah?
Was that built in the 80s or the very early 90s?
86.
Yeah, so this is really we're all using half rounds and rounds and elliptical and all that. Anyway, I just think
Okay.
wherever you have the opportunity to simplify it and get rid of some of the curves, in my opinion, take that opportunity and save yourself a little money too, right?
Absolutely.
And
good.
and changes of materials too. I just think simplify, simplify, simplify. There you go. That's my
Okay.
opinion. I won't say, I can't promise I won't say another word, but.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I really don't have anything to add. I agree with everything that's been said. I'm not sure about the argument for supply relevant to not doing things, because if nothing else, one could wait. In general, I'm comfortable with Sarah's effects that maybe it's too much and we lose some cupolas. I don't think that's the end of the world. Otherwise, I think every change is logical and makes sense based on, the intended use of the property and supply the chain problems. So I don't have any issues. Kathy, you have anything to add?
The only comment I had is the removal of the windows in the front. Could you go to the new elevation?
Sure.
All covered by.
Yeah, I didn't mean to comment on that too. They're gone now in essence, because you can't look closed out from the inside.
They're actually covered with vinyl siding on the outside.
Yeah, so
They're what?
and they're actually
They're
covered
actually
now.
covered
They're
with
not there
vinyl
anymore.
siding.
Oh, they're covered now?
Yeah,
And I
the
didn't
ones up
find it to
above are
be-
still there, but the ones
Obtrusive.
down below are actually.
What's the landscaping in front there?
That has bushes in front of the
So
whole
there's
thing.
landscaping proposed in front of that?
Mhm.
Existing. Most of the side south windows have been paneled off.
I
In
mean, if
the,
you
in
wanted to
the,
put like a smaller decorative tree or something and send it in front of it to break up that.
Yeah, it just seemed weird to all of a sudden eliminate those windows, because they've been shown as being there, not that they've been covered over.
Yeah, no, right now they're actually vinyl sided over. We were gonna replace them.
Oh, okay.
so they've never, I don't know, when did you do that? Years ago?
It was after I was there, so probably.
So it's really just, it's not a change from the existing, it's a change from what you proposed previously.
Yep.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Anything else from anybody? Then I guess we have to go through our little.
Can
Yeah.
could you give me the address of this property? I just want to look at it so I can see what it looks like now, a
Right.
photograph. So I'm gonna
820.
look on the website. 820?
822-28.
Okay, thank you.
So just looking at this, so it sounds like everyone's fine with removing of the windows.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only thing I said, maybe just
I think everybody's fine with
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, I think just to give Steve an idea, we kind of go through the different strategies for the citing strategies and the building strategies and say whether it's not applicable, meets the standard, or whether there's some discrepancies. Because this is a VCOD project, compliance is mandatory. So we need to be sure that it's either not applicable or meets the standards. With regard to citing strategies, the proposed changes are related to the facade of the building at 822 Route 28 only, and there are no proposed changes to the site plans. And I just said the following denotes the review comments on the site from the June 23rd, 2020 design review comment sheet, which for streetscape and tenant space and defining the streetscape all meets the standard. Shielding the large buildings not applicable. Designing a second story meets the standard. Use of topo to screen the new design not applicable. Landscape buffers meets the standards. Parking lot visibility meets it. Breaking up large parking lots meets it. Locating utilities underground meets it. And then shielding loading area meets it. So really what
We're saying everything's the same in terms of our answers for before, they apply it
Yep.
once again.
So the only thing in the building strategies, I think that obviously they're breaking down the building mass, meets the standard. I'm going to go through this unless people chime in if you're disagreeing from the design review committee. Breaking down the building into submass meets the standards. There's a lot of that. Varying the facade lines, I put meets the standards because relief was given from the zoning board of appeals for the open air porches for 822 Route 28 already. Varying the wall heights, the roof lines, and bringing down the building edges, varying building materials, and all meets the standards. With regard to using traditional and natural building materials, this is where we had indicated it meets the standards, but we had indicated ensure all building and roof colors for 822 Route 28 are complementary to the existing neutral color scheme, provide different shades to enhance the variations in building massing, to bring all the building colors together, refinish the brick to better match the entire building color scheme. There's like a actual red brick on
On the
one
left-hand
side.
side, yeah.
And prior to
Yes.
submitting
Yeah.
building permit, submit color scheme to the town planner for review, to which I would then call Sarah Jane Porter to come
Perfect.
take a look.
That's what I thought it said, something like that. So we're
So-
reinstating that.
So if you're okay with that, I can leave that in there.
Sounds good to me.
And then incorporating the pedestrian scale features meets the standards, and then the energy efficiency meets the standards. So what we do is, because these are serving as meeting minutes also, so that the applicant can get them, I'm just going to read the quick summary. Obviously, Eric went through the 8 different items that are listed there. In addition to listing them out, the portico share was redesigned due to difficulties with turning movements. The staircases were removed to allow for more controlled access to the building. The 5 casement windows are being removed to reduce the heat in the room from the south-facing windows. Single glass door and 2 double-hung windows are being proposed for the units, except for the memory care units, which will not have an exterior door. The 3 modulation additions will remain. Some products have been limited due to supply chain issues. And then we just talked very briefly about the comments from the design review committee. Charlie Adams agrees with most everything except the cupolas, which he liked how they broke up the length of the building. Chris Wise noted concerns about getting materials for the cupolas, so hoping to reduce some of the scope of the project were not visible from the main road. There are also more doors and windows needing to be replaced than originally anticipated. Steve O'Neill inquired about what is in store for landscaping in front of the building. Chris Wise noted nothing has changed from the previously approved design. Sarah Porter likes the removal of the 5 casement windows and does not mind removal of the cupolas. She inquired as to whether the curves on the portico are needed and would like to see the building simplified. Would rather keep the angles on the entrance rather than the arch. Chris Wise indicated final materials and colors can still be finalized prior to execution. Sarah Porter felt the colors should be as simple as possible. Dick Martin agreed with what has been said. He doesn't have any issues with the cupolas. Other changes are logical in it for the intended use of the property. Yeah. And Kathy Williams commented on the removal of the 5 casement windows and should include some landscaping. So if that's everyone,
With that?
I need a couple votes. I need, hang on one second and I will read it. I need a motion from someone that the proposed amendments to the facade of the building at 822 Route 28 for the VCOD 2020-1C project at 822 and 834 Route 28 and 30 Frank Baker Road, as presented at the Design Review Committee of January 18th, 2022, is in compliance with the citing and building strategies outlined in the architectural and site design standards.
Kathy, Chris
I
just brought
move,
up.
I'm
go
just
ahead.
thinking, we want to make sure that the archway in the front gets mentioned at least as a minute and that we resubmit, you know, the final with colors and whatnot. Because it's not going to be the archway as presented, it's going to be
On the portico shed.
on the main portico share. Sarah, we're gonna have Eric tool a gable resemblance down with a final archway which projects out, which is the cover.
So you're gonna get rid of both of those curves? Is that,
Well, the bottom one is simply an archway that sticks out like 4 feet.
yeah,
That's-
okay, but you're gonna get rid of the top, the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
above
Get rid of the
that
top.
anyway.
And the bottom will become a gable rather than the archway.
Well, I'd like to see that, yeah.
Way around.
No,
No?
It's
So
arched right
can I have
now.
another question? Can I just ask for clarification? So are you gonna bring, so there'll be where the main big arch is showing now over those letters, WL? You're gonna eliminate that?
We can flatten that out and carry that straight line at the top of the columns all the way across, so.
Yeah, okay, I would like to see that, thank you.
Okay,
And then want the arc to become more of a gable?
Well, why don't you see? Eric, you can just, you
Eric,
know what.
go back up to the top one.
I was thinking even a flat roof instead of the arch might be,
Yeah,
If you see
I'd
the
like to
front,
see something, a line or two.
something
I mean,
like
you'll
that.
try, you'll see what works best, Eric, right? You'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
now, just if I can ask a quick question, is that something that will require a new filing, or can that be handled administratively?
Oh,
I guess it's up to you guys if you want to note that there'll be some modifications to the angles, the curves in the front
Curves.
facade.
Curves,
no curves.
no curves.
Eric, go back. Eric, can you go back?
the
up?
minimized curves.
To the top one?
We're just gonna draw a straight line across and then have a gable.
What if we
end
just
sticking
said
out?
it was gonna be straight across up above and then below was gonna, the portico shed is gonna look like this one here as opposed to the arch?
Okay.
I can
I
make
mean,
that.
I think Eric will decide what looks best, right, Eric?
I will do my best.
You guys have to somehow, it's hard because this is something that needs to be a mandatory compliance.
Okay,
But if you want to say they
maybe we
absolutely
could see,
to have more angles and no curves.
Fine.
I'd like to see no curves myself.
Okay,
To
But,
be
maybe
submitted
Eric
to
could
the
just do
planning
a
board.
sketch
So you're
and
gonna let
send it to us.
Sure.
How about that?
Ooh.
Because this needs to go to the planning, board,
Anyway,
right?
All right. That
and
sounds
they'll
good.
have a chance, and Sarah will have a chance to look at it before it goes there anyway. And everyone.
Okay.
Okay, the applicant will just report so clear entrance, there are more angles and no curves submitted to the planning board for final review.
Are you typing all of that or does it voice record?
She's very good.
Oh my God, I'm like, I can't type
She's
in
a
the game all
genius.
afternoon.
That's right. So did we have a motion?
Sarah made the motion.
Sure, so we do have the motion. Do I have a second?
the motion.
Okay, Charlie seconded it.
I just need a roll call.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please. Charlie?
Charlie Adam?
Aye. Okay. That was an aye, I guess. Sarah?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Steve?
Yes,
No, an aye. Okay, that's unanimous.
So 4-0. I also need a motion that these design review comments as part of the minutes for the January 18th, 2022 design review committee related to the proposed amendments for the redevelopment project. So
Sounds good. Yes, I make that motion.
Okay, Sarah's. Second. Charlie? And any discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
aye.
That's unanimous.
last thing, and we can move on to the next. I just need a motion to end this agenda item for the January 18th, 2023 design review committee at 4:11.
Okay. I won't have a, so moved.
So moved.
So moved in a second. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Carries unanimously as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Typically, what I do is I print them out for you guys to see right now, but I have another applicant now. So what I'll do is I'll print it out, and send it to you, someone can sign it and they get it back to me. That would be good.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Electronically, I can scan it and send it back to you.
You can, yep,
You've got my email
yep,
address.
I will do so.
Perfect, thank you so
All right,
much.
Thank you.
How many words a minute can you type?
Thank you all. Take care.
Good to see you, Eric. Good to
You as
see
well,
you,
sir.
Jack. Good to
All right,
see you.
Take care.
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
See you later, guys.
Thank you.
You
All
too.
right, committee members, stay there because we got
Yes,
another one.
we got another one. Hang on. We got to bump people up.
We're down a couple weeks.
Paranoid about losing stuff when I type in.
I can only imagine you would be.
Okay. All right, hang on one second. So I am going to promote to panelists the next agenda item. So I'm gonna
What is-
challenge promote panelists.
They're online, all
I'm here. What's the next project? I forget.
It is the
J
J Mart.
I do know we have a butter online, so we might want
Okay,
to
so-
double check to see if we have any comments at the end.
All right, good. Is the J Mart building on 28. It's a gas station and 4 cottages on 2 lots. Or is it 5 cottages? Let's see. 5 cottages, I guess.
Hi, Hal.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I can't get Jay promoted to panelist, and maybe he's denying access. Maybe
Oh,
he doesn't want to be.
I see he's there, but I don't see Barbara, but
Jay will be rejoining as a panel.
he's doing it. Okay.
Okay. All right, so you don't need to reread that right now.
No.
So we have number 2 today is the Ekaterina and Family LLC for 1276, 1282 Route 28. To demolish 6 existing buildings and a canopy structure and replace with a new 3,340 square foot mixed use building to include a convenience store and coffee shop with drive-through on the first floor, 4 2-bedroom apartments on the second floor, 5 new multiple fuel dispensing pumps with overhead canopy and associated site improvements. So, let's see, I guess I'll let you, are you doing the presentation or do we have?
I think Hal's gonna, are you gonna share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll let you give us an outline of your project.
He's gonna share. his-
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you share your
Yeah.
screen? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, let me. Okay, can you see the screen?
No, I think you need to open it up separately before going into the directory and then open it up.
Oh,
There's
that's good, but let me see new share, so,
You,
okay, let me see, okay. this
you're in
one.
your directory.
That's all we see is your direct, there you
Okay.
go.
There you
Here
go.
we go.
You see it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you. For the record, my name is Hal Tuba. I'm a consulting engineer with offices at 112 State Road in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, and I represent the applicant on this application. What we have here, I think, let me go a little bit larger here. As the chairman read into the record, this is a redevelopment of a property comprised of two lots, 1276, and this is 1276 on Route 28 that currently has 5 cottages, and 1282, this is 1282, and currently is the gas station J Mart. I'm sure you're all familiar with the site. It has both properties are located within the Business Zone District 2, B2, and HMOD 1. Both properties together measures approximately 0.37 acres, and there are 7 structures on the property, 5 cottages, 1 convenience store, approximately 1,800 square feet, a canopy, overhead canopy with 2 multiple pumps, the tanks on the side of the pumps to the east, and access to the site is via 3 existing curb cuts on Route 28. The owner of the property would like to redevelop the property, demolish all existing structures on the property, the 7 structures, and construct a 3,340 square foot 2-story building. The first floor would be used as a convenience store with the drive-through and a small coffee shop. The second floor would be residential, so it's a mixed use building with 4 apartments on the second floor. Also to the south of the proposed building would be the parking lot. We have 14 parking spaces to the front, and then between the parking and the streets would be 5 multiple dispensing pumps with the canopy. Access through the site will be via 2 reduced site driveways. Currently, the existing canopy is 2 feet from the street line, which is an existing non-conforming structure as far as setbacks. And the apartments in the back, they're about 10 feet from the property line, where 20 feet is required, so they don't meet the rear setbacks also. The proposed canopy would be placed 18 feet from the street line. That's an improvement over the existing nonconformity. As I mentioned before, the existing structure is 2 feet, and the proposed building would be at 27 feet from the property line, meeting the setback requirements, the rear setback. The front setback, we can't meet the front setback requirements for the canopy, which is 30 feet, but that would be the next step would be going through a site plan review, and then we'll have to go through the zoning board, because this is a gas station, and gas stations are allowed modification, or gas stations are subject to Board of Appeal. So we'll be filing with the zoning board for relief on the setback. Currently, there are no landscape within the 20-foot landscape buffer to the front. Basically, almost the whole project, the whole property is paved. And also there's some landscape in the back, undefined landscape in the back between the residential to the north and the property. With these site improvements, we would be providing, I believe 18, I have it on the breakdown, about 1,465 square feet of landscape within the 20-foot front setback, which is an improvement over what's existing now. As I mentioned, this is an existing non-conforming condition. Also, we would be providing a 10-foot buffer to the rear from the residential, along with an 8-foot fence to buffer the property from the residence to the north. We would meet the required landscape setbacks to the east and to the west. Parking would be in compliance with the zoning bylaws. Lighting would be in compliance with the zoning bylaws. There would be no spillage of light either on the streets, adjacent streets, or adjacent properties. We did submit the lighting design with the package. And prior to submitting this package, actually, I did meet with Kathy and the building commissioner, and we went over the site and kind of discussed what we would be asking the zoning board for relief and what you guys would be looking for as far as the design review committee. So there's been some communication between us and the town prior to submitting this application. Part of the site improvements would be a brand new septic system in compliance with Mass DEP Title V. Also would be a brand new storm water collection system that would collect all runoff from the site and treat it and direct it to an on-site infiltration system. Therefore, we would eliminate any runoff from the site to Route 28 as presently exists. The building, I did submit some elevation of the building, and I'm sure that's why we're here too. I'm sure you'll have some comments and we can discuss. So the building is a 2-story building with commercial on the first floor and residential on the second floor. It's architecturally more attractive than what's there now, we can say that. And we thought it would fit nicely with the neighborhood. It's a Cape Cod design. It has a pitch roof with architectural shingle and hardy plank siding and double hung windows on the second floor with storefront windows on the first. The canopy also has a hip roof to it. So it's not just a metal flat roof type of canopies that you see on most gas stations. And it would complement the design of the building and would tie the building to the canopy. Also, we'd be using white PVC trim or AZAX throughout the project. I did submit a copy of the materials that we intend to use for the project. We do have also a landscape plan that was submitted with the package, a lighting plan, some details, and a conceptual septic design and the stormwater design. The tanks would be double wall fiberglass tanks in compliance with all local, state, and federal fire and environmental regulations. Albeit state-of-the-art gas station is versus what you have now. I mean, it's a dated structure that we understand that needs some kind of improvement. At this time, I would be glad to answer any questions. I do have the owner with me here, and also I believe Barbara is here. She is the office manager also for, I believe she was gonna sign in, I'm not sure, but the owner is here also if you have any questions. Thank you.
I don't see Barbara, I see Jay, which I promoted to panel.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to our members. Charlie?
Question on the egresses for the apartments, the 4 apartments, if you're having, where are they located?
One is, let me put the first floor on the floor layout.
Okay.
So one entrance is a covered entrance that would be to the left of the main entrance of the building, going up the stairs. And that would take you to a hallway where you have access to the 4 apartments. And then the second means of egress would be the deck all around the building, going down to the set of stairs to the west side of the building to the outside.
On the right-hand side of what could be the, I guess, east side, it shows a door going out onto a porch area.
Right.
But they're gonna jump from there?
No,
Step into
The
this.
stairs.
it's a wrap up all around the building.
So they're gonna have to walk all the way around the building?
Yes, that's an emergency, that's the fire exit, yes. And the building would be equipped with an automatic fire sprinkler system that's required by building code.
I would think that the fire department would want a little easier access out that door, but then having to walk around the building in order to get down, that seems to be a very good thing.
Yeah, did you say something about a fire suppression system? I didn't hear that.
Yes, yes, the building would be required to have a fire, automatic fire sprinkler system.
Is that sprinkler?
Yes,
I'm sorry. You went in and out a little bit.
oh, okay.
And where would the lighting be located on this building? Well, at least for the front and what would be close to the neighbors?
The lighting, let me go to the lighting plan. We have. This is the lighting. And we have let me just. And this shows you the foot candle projection of the lighting, of the canopy and the wall lightings along the building, and the back where the light poles are shown. And it would show you the intensity of the lighting. So if you look at the lighting, you can see that by the time you get to the property line or to the street, your foot candle is less than 1 foot candle, or it's somewhere around 0. Let me get I have to. Okay.
The bylaw requires, I believe, abutting residential that it be 0.05 foot candles. So that's something to keep in mind in the rear of the property, which does abut a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, so the lighting would be in compliance with the zoning bylaws.
That's fine. I think I don't have any problem with the general design of the property. And we take care of the landscape aspect of it.
I'll have a couple things to say.
Oh, Tim will take it. I'm sorry. Sorry. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, thanks. Can I see the landscape plan? Landscaping? Especially, I'm really concerned what it looks like from the street at 28, looking into the site.
Mhm.
If I may have a quick question too, you don't have any existing plan showing the existing landscape and trees?
I do.
You do?
It's not much.
It's good. I have an existing plans that would show the impervious coverage, yes.
Shows the what?
Not the non-impervious coverage. So if it's open space or if it's not.
Yeah, we like to know, I mean, part of the zoning bylaw is to save existing landscaping and so forth and trees, and if we don't know where they are, we can't save them, so.
Right.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Steve.
No, go ahead. Can you just walk us through what you have?
Sure. Trying to enlarge I don't know what's happening. It froze on me. Can you see the landscape plan?
Yes, yep.
So
It's just a little slow on you.
yeah, I know. If the file I have, because I combined the 18 sheets together with the rendering, so I think it's making
not
it difficult to regenerate. So just bear with me here for a minute, please.
Okay.
Okay, so what we have, there's some existing right now. There's about 20 feet between the back of the sidewalk and the property line that's existing landscape, but that's on Mass DOT. It's not on our property.
Okay.
So that existing landscape, we're not touching it, and basically, I mean, if we expand it, we can put some low coverage grass or mulch, but we can't put big trees. We'll have to, we'll try to get permission from DOT to do it, because we would have to apply for Mass DOT for the curb cuts modifications anyways. So if they allow us to do that, we will put some low shrubs or some kind of coverage on Mass DOT. Other than that, what we have on our side, we do have we have shrubs along the side of the driveways. And then we have the larger trees to the side and to the back and the reason for the low shrubs in the front, not to impede with the sight distance on Route 28. So we have a landscape all around here. To the rear, we do have, I believe it's evergreen. I'm not sure if it's northern. I'll check the landscape, but
Red cedars.
yeah. So we have the planting in the back along with the tree. And if we go to the aerial, I'll show you the aerial mapping. This to the north of the site, it's all wooded, and you know, this is something that we don't have any, we have no control of, and we can't. I believe it will remain wooded. So. If I may take you to the existing, and also we have some landscape island between the parking in compliance with the zoning bylaw requirements for the square footage or the parking lot areas that you have to provide a green space for. So basically with the landscape, we comply, except, like I said before, we can't provide the 20-foot landscape buffer in the front, because to lose the 20 feet in the front, either you lose the pumps, which basically you lose the gas station, or you lose 20 feet from the building, which almost you lose the whole building. So because of the nature, because of the shape of the lot, it's really, and because it's an existing non-conforming, and we said we will improve it by adding another 80% of landscape to the front that you don't have now. That's something we have to go to the zoning board for. If I go back to the existing,
Yeah.
that's the existing, and then you can see that there's this is the existing landscape in the front that I mentioned. This is all within Mass DOT, it's not within our properties, and there's some in between the buildings, there's some landscape. We've located all trees that are 12-inch or larger, and you can see there's some trees here that will be losing due to the construction of the building, but we will replicate by providing a row of arborvitaes in the back along the entire northern property line. So that's what's there now. As far as landscape, there is some landscape in the front that we will keep. But again, I understand that landscape may not be counted towards the landscape for the property because it's not our property. But like I said, there's nothing we can do really because of the shape of the property and the way.
Kathy has a question she wants to see.
I'm just wondering how, when you look at the grading plan, you're grading that entire island. So how are you retaining anything?
What the entire island in the front?
Yep.
We wouldn't be changing the grades there, because we're not really changing the grade much. But I don't know. Let me look at the grade plan. Definitely, we're not changing the grade by much. Okay. I see that, Kathy. I'll look into this. I thought we're matching the grades at the property line, but maybe we're just defining the contours. But I'll take a look at this. Definitely, we're not. We can't. We won't be impacting those landscape islands, anyways. But I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, just one more point, Hal.
Yeah.
If you could work some magic with DOT to get them to allow you to expand the landscaping in the front, I think would be beneficial to the overall project.
I will, trust me, I will, but unfortunately, I can't go to DOT before, you have to secure your local permits before you can apply for but we do have to go back to DOT because it's just Mass DOT, it's Route 28 is under Mass DOT jurisdiction. But definitely we'll push for that.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Sarah? You're muted.
Sorry, can I see the landscape, please? I mean, the building, please? My recollection is I had no issues with it at all, by the way, but I'm, I meant the building elevations, please.
The building elevation plan.
Sure.
While Hal's
Thank you.
looking at that, I just want to read a chat from Mark Grills. He just noted that there are many pieces of ZBA relief which have not been fully vetted. The landscape in the front will require relief, as what is being proposed is not on the property.
Okay. Yeah, I have no problems. Oh, can I see the east elevation, I guess it is, the right side? Yeah, the entire thing.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
looking at this. I just want to look at the stair, egress stair. I'm just curious.
To the
Uh,
left.
Let me move it to the,
Yeah, just maybe I can do it. Oh, no, I can do it. I'm sorry. I could do it. Never mind. I did, and I can't see what the railings are made out of. Could you?
it's plastic with railing.
So it's white?
Right, yes. And I believe we did submit the cut sheet for that too. So.
Yeah, I can't remember the answer to this question, but the stairs, outdoor stairs have to be covered? I don't know. I know years ago they were required to be covered. So,
It has to be maintained I've done so many projects in the Cape, mixed use, and you need to have two means of egress. One has to be covered, and that's the
okay.
one we provide at the front, but the second one doesn't have to. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'm fine with this.
Okay, great. Okay, my comments, actually a couple things, a couple typos on the plan just for your edification.
Yep.
The elevations, it shows proposed front elevation for the rear elevation. Might want to change that. And
I'm sorry, you were breaking out a little bit. The rear elevation?
on the elevation
Oh, yeah,
plan,
that's right.
the bottom says front elevation, that should be the rear elevation.
Right, correct, yeah.
And you got two bedroom ones on one of the apartments on the upstairs. Most of what's going on here, I like the redevelopment of the site. I like the looks of the building and the canopy for that matter. I like the use, I like coffee shops. My biggest problem is I just think we're trying to get too much on too small a parcel. We're dealing with less than an acre here. We're trying to put 4 2-bedroom apartments and a 5 station gas pumps with a canopy and a convenience store and a coffee shop and a drive-through on under an acre of land. It just doesn't seem like it fits. And that's why we're having problems in terms of needing the relief with the front island and so forth. I just personally think it's too much to do a full redevelopment of a site and expect there to be no front buffer other than what's already there on state land, which could go away any day. Doesn't seem right to me. Now, that's landscaped somewhat now. There are some landscaping, there's one tree there. And at the very least that, other people have been able to use the state layout where it's wide in this section to do the extra landscaping and trees. I feel that there needs to be a little more room there, even if it's just 5 feet. That's on your property, so that there could always be some buffer there in case the state decides to do something stupid again. Do some more widening. And I just think it's too much. I mean, I can see a coffee shop and a convenience store and the apartments, or I can see the gas station, but putting it all together seems like an overuse of the site. As much as I'd like to say, I don't see that. It's just a lot going on less than an acre of land. You got residential abutters in the back, an 8-foot fence. You'll need relief for that, I think, too. I did see 2 trees that can be retained that showed on your plan that you just showed. They should be retained. It's not showing as such. The plantings don't have enough. There's not enough of the required 2.5 or 3-inch caliber trees around the site. We have red cedar buffer, heavy buffer in the back, but only 2 trees in the back. There need to be more. Looks like you're picking just red maples, which I'm never too thrilled about. I think you need a breakup of different types of trees that are semi-native or native. I think all that, my biggest problem is it don't fit. And the canopy is fine. I mean, I don't know if there's a way to redirect the pumps and have fewer pumps and get a little buffer or some way to make that work. But right now, at the very least, I think there has to be some front buffer that's on your property, in my estimation. And all the buffers have to be landscaped at least to code. And that means you're missing a bunch of trees, you're missing trees that should stay there that are there. And some of the other plantings didn't seem adequate either. Otherwise, design's great and so forth. It's just, just needs a 2-acre site and not a 3/4 acre site. And that's my my big issue with it. I don't, for a new redevelopment to get all that into this space is I don't know if it works. It works for me personally.
If I may?
Yeah.
Right, I mean, just to give you a little background, I do work with gas stations. I've designed over 200-300 gas stations all throughout New England. I've did a lot of work down the Cape back in the 2000s and 15 years ago. I used to have an office in Buzzards Bay. I've worked with a lot of smaller sites. In terms of the site, you can have a 3-acre lot, and you can be in a zoning when they only allow you to develop 25% of your lot, and you can't put half of what we show here. I mean, in this case, you are in the B2 zone. There's no. I understand the concern about the trees and about the landscape, and we'll take care of the existing trees to remain. We'll save every tree that we can, but you have to remember, this is an existing gas station that already has a convenience store, already has the pumps. Now, whether 2 pumps or 5 pumps, it's not the usage it'll be less intense to the traffic because you could be pushing more cars rather than having the cars going, stacking on the site or on the street. In terms of the convenience store and the drive-through, and with all respect, this is all related businesses. You take a look at every single gas station now. You can't survive with just either having a gas station with nothing with it. You have to have something. And with all respect, you already have 5 cottages. I mean, to read about this project, you're looking at $3-4 million. If you're not going to offset some of the cost by additional income, by all means. I'm not a PhD. I don't have a PhD in finance, but you know, the project is that, honestly,
And,
so.
and with all due respect to you, I understand what you're saying, and in general, I like the proposal. And yes, that we want the owner and petitioner to make money from it. I understand that as well.
Yeah,
But it's tight. I mean, there's other things here. I haven't even mentioned, it shows 100 feet from the talking, order board there on the drive-through to the closest residence. If I'm reading the zoning right, I think it's supposed to be 100 feet to the nearest zone, not the house. So you do not have that either, so you would need relief from that too. I'm worried about the residential neighbors there having less than the required buffer in the back, which right now isn't even planted right, and has a fence which we don't know would be approved either. I think it's limited to 6 feet, isn't it?
It's no permit for 6 feet, you need a permit for 8.
Yeah, right. So you'd have to have that specially permitted as well. And it's still awfully close to residential houses. Yeah, I'd love to see a redevelopment of it. I mean, it's what's there now is really pretty cruddy. And so a redevelopment is nice, but I think you gotta tone down a few things. It's not our problem to, allow you to fit in a lot more than what's there now. Right now, you've got a gas station and a very small convenience store and 5 little cottages. But we're adding drive-through, and essentially a restaurant and many more gas pumps. It's, what's there now is already tight, so I'm just telling you my concerns. I'm just, I think it's too much, and one way or another, it's gonna at least be beefed up in terms of all these buffers and some protection for the residential neighbors that I'm seeing here on this plan. Beyond that, I don't have anything else. Anything else from anybody else? And like I said, I do think you'd be able to get the state to work with you on planting the island, which will be bigger, which is good. We're losing a curb cut, which is good. And there's some plantings out there now you could also, incorporate. All right. Did you have somebody from the public?
Yeah, there's someone, I don't know if she wants to speak or not. Are you opening it up to the public?
Happy to open this up to the public if anybody's there that wants to speak.
Nancy, did you have your hand raised? I'm gonna allow her to speak and she can say yes or no. Nancy, can you hear us?
I can.
Did you want to say anything or you don't
Yeah.
have to?
Well, just very quickly, I'm the direct abutter behind this project. Both lots, 27 and 28 Briar Lane. I've inherited it from my parents who bought it in 1950. And we have plans to move there and redevelop my parents' house. And it will be moved. Right now, it's non-conforming. It's 10 feet from the neighbor. And we have plans to move it 20 feet and have it conform onto the lot. So that moves it even closer to this project. And we'll be directly affected by the drive-through with cars going by our property and exhaust and open windows with radios and it's a very tall building. And the second floor walkway, they'll pretty much be looking over at us. I know that's not our problem, it's just a concern. The lot that we own at 27, which abuts on the other side, is unbuildable and we were going to use it for a garden. I'm just letting you know how we feel about it. We don't want anyone to not be able to do business, but I agree that it's a huge project, and it would affect our living situation.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it for now.
Okay, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from any parties? I guess we'll go through our list.
Yes. This is advisory, so design review committee versus the previous one, which was mandatory. So we'll just go through the citing strategies. The streetscape, I think there is a discrepancy. The building is located back from the street with parking and gas pumps in the front, and there are long facades without the required modulations.
Yep.
So feel free to jump in, anybody, if you want to change something.
Yeah. I mean, you can say the building's attractive and we,
Yeah, that's great.
but it's,
Mhm.
there's a streetscape problems in terms of
Sorry.
buffers and plantings and overuse of the site, I guess.
And you're right about the elevation in terms of one long distance, of course.
Yep.
There's no modulation is what I mean.
Right,
Right.
that's the long facade
Yeah, there's-
without the required mod.
There's roof modulations, but no front ones, yeah.
And so I just added the building is attractive, but there are streetscape issues with the size of buffers. That was what it said.
Mhm.
Tenant space is really not applicable, the small building. Defining the street edge, very similar to one of the discrepancy. The street edge is not defined by the building location, nor through the use of landscape features or street trees, as there is a long stretch of frontage on the property without any buffers.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Al, you will get a copy of this, just so that you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Shielding large buildings are not applicable. Designing a second story, they meet that standard. Use a topo to screen it, it's really not applicable. Landscape buffers and screening, there is a discrepancy. Mature buffer trees are not being retained, and there's a long stretch of frontage without any buffer plantings on the property. Buffer trees to east and west of the entrances should be provided. I mean, you have some property on the outer edges there that don't have buffer trees in them.
What's shown is inadequate.
The side buffers need to have more trees to meet the zoning bylaw, and most of the side and rear buffers include an 8-foot solid fence. Do you want to add something?
That's good.
Anybody?
That's good.
Anybody?
Sounds good.
Parking lot visibility, there's discrepancy. The parking is highly visible due to the lack of front buffering and parking in the front.
Okay.
Breaking up large parking lots. This is, I know we didn't really talk about that, but although there is not an extensive parking and there are 3 in-lot trees are shown, there's just a large expanse of open pavement from the parking areas, the pumps, the drive-through, the circulation. There's just a large amount of parking that, or pavement, in a sense, is that's what the whole idea of breaking up the large parking lots is. You don't want this giant expanse of pavement. And we kind of have a giant expanse of pavement. So it's up to you guys as to whether it meets the standards or there's a discrepancy.
I think there's discrepancies.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, me too.
Locating utilities underground, they're meeting the standard. Shielding the loading areas. I think they're meeting the standards. They have the dumpsters off to the side. They're being screened with fencing. There is a loading area to the east side, but I don't think it's going to be used all that frequency. It's not like a loading dock area where you have a bunch of tractor trailers coming in and out. So I had that as being meeting the standard. Does anyone
Okay.
want-
Good.
Usually when I out having lived in the neighborhood, is that these trucks come in, these truck trailers and basically park right in the front of the area, and we'll get things in because what is inside is usually not large packed items.
Do you envision how this being tractor trailers or box trucks?
Box trucks, probably.
So I think they do have a pull-off area to the right there.
Yep.
Depending on when you have deliveries, obviously there's going to need to be some type of coordination. ZBA might have more to say. The building design, I agree. I think the building actually looks very nice. It'd be nicer to have some modulations, but I think you did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Making it look nice. And even the canopy, I just really appreciate that you guys did the detail of the hip roof on there, and you don't have like fluorescent illuminated signage on the outside. You have some very discreet, signage, which I think really
And,
makes it look nice.
it's near a highway.
So,
So it's too big. They could be utilized.
So-
Sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to share. Building strategies, breaking down the building mass and breaking it down into submasses. I think that meets the standards. It's just a small building that they try to modulate. It's either meet the standards or it's not applicable. It's up to you guys.
Say that again, Kathy, I'm sorry, missed it.
Just breaking down the building mass into smaller masses. It's not a huge building. So either it's
No.
not applicable or they meet the standard. It's up to you guys which one.
I'd say not applicable. I mean, I think it looks good just the way it is. It doesn't need the modulation.
Yep, and that's fine. We'll get there in a sec. Let me just. I'm gonna save before I have a heart attack. I lose something. Okay, and I think you can, the next one is obviously the varying the facade lines. It's obviously a discrepancy because we have like 114 feet and 70 feet facades without any modulations or articulations. Did we lose?
Correct.
What did we lose?
What was that? What
Oh,
do
I'm
you,
sorry, I thought we lost you, Sarah. Sorry.
no,
hang
I'm
on.
here. I
Okay.
just didn't hear.
So it's a discrepancy, but you can add something saying, I mean, I do think having the overhang helps.
Mhm.
And
I
having.
think we say it's a discrepancy, but there is some modulation,
Mhm.
at least based on the dormers and the roof lines.
Right, but that's a different, there's roof lines and
Oh, I'm
wall
sorry,
height. So
right.
this is just, how does it have bump outs or
Well,
things coming in?
it doesn't, and it should.
The only thing it has is the kind of changes the front lines is the overhang of the second story in the front, and then also the walkway, the porch in the back. So you could say something about that. That helps break it up if you want.
I think the overall design and variety of, how to say this, roof angles essentially makes it appear like there's modulation. I don't know if that makes any sense. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, I think we know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
The
Okay,
overall-
good.
Because I think there are some discrepancies.
It's still a discrepancy, but you can
Yeah.
like say it, soften it if you
Yeah,
want. I mean, I
that's
think they
fine.
did a great job with the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
But the overall design and variety of overhangs
Provide some relief.
provide some, thank you. The wall heights, I think they meet that standard. They are varying the wall heights, and they are varying
Yep.
the roof lines.
Mhm.
The building has varying roof lines, heights, and decorative cupolas. The canopy design incorporates a hip roof and stone cap and PVC wrapped columns, which I thought was a very nice detail as well. The base has a little bit of detail to it, as well as the wrapping the posts in PVC.
Mhm.
Bringing down the building edges, I think they're meeting those standards with the variety that they're doing. Different building materials are kind of keeping it mostly to the two materials with the stone. I know you don't like the stone here at the bottom, and then the hardy plank. Traditional natural materials, it meets the standards. They may not be 100% natural materials, but they replicate natural materials.
Yeah.
Incorporating pedestrian scale features, I think they meet the standard. I noted that the second story overhang helps to create a pedestrian corridor along the first floor underneath there at the entrance. But I do think that pedestrian access should be provided to Route 28, some type of sidewalk to Route 28. So I did incorporate that in that comment.
Okay.
Unless it has any difficulty.
Agreed.
And then,
Is it
and then
possible for me to escape? Do you need me?
I think we'll still have quorum as long as Sarah.
I
and
still have
Stephen-
quorum if you guys can stay on. I have a flight to catch.
Oh, okay.
My wife has already texted me at least 5 times. And so I think
I've said what I need, so you just have a little finalization and you should be good.
Yeah, we're good.
And, good luck with it. I think one way or another, you could do something there that's gonna be good, but with some fine tuning and maybe a little shortening of stuff. But whatever, good luck.
Have fun where are you going?
Florida. Going back to Florida, I commute.
So I'm just gonna read a little summary and then we can kind of do our votes. Hal gave a brief overview of the project. He noted the redevelopment of 2 lots, 1276 Route 28.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
later, Dick.
Yep, bye-bye.
With 5 existing cottages and 1282 Route 28 with an existing convenience store and canopy over 2 pumps. The redevelopment will be mixed use with parking, 5 gas pumps with canopy, 2 driveways reduced from 3. Existing canopy is 2 feet from the street line and cottages and back is 10 feet from the rear property line. The new canopy would be 18 feet from the street and the proposed building would be 27, meeting the rear setback. He will be filing for ZBA relief. The site improvements would add more landscaping over what is in existence now and have a 10-foot buffer in the rear and 8-foot solid fence as shown on the landscape plan. There would also be a new septic system and stormwater collection system. Hal gave an overview of the 2-story building, noting the Cape Cod architectural style. He also noted the hip roof on the gas station canopy to complement the building, and the new gas tanks would meet all environmental regulations. So design review committee questions. Charlie inquired about the location of the egresses from the apartments, and there are 2 entrances, one inside the building and one on the exterior stairs/deck. The building would have sprinklers. Charlie inquired about the building mounted lighting in proximity to the neighbors. Hal noted the photometric plan. Steve inquired about the landscaping plan, especially along Route 28. Hal noted the existing vegetation, the layout, and they would be willing to ask Mass DOT to provide some low plantings. He gave an overview of the rest of the landscaping plan, including 3 inlet trees. The lot is currently existing non-conforming. Kathy Williams noted the grade changes may impact the vegetation in the Route 28 layout. Steve O'Neill felt asking Mass DOT for additional plantings in the Route 28 layout would be beneficial to the project. Sarah Porter asked about the stairs and materials. Hal noted the railing would be plastic. Ms. Porter asked if the stairs needed to be covered, and he indicated only 1 egress has to be covered, and she indicated she was fine with the elevations. Dick Martin generally likes the project, but thinks that they're trying to get too much on too small of a parcel, should not do a full redevelopment without any buffer other than on state land, can try to use state land for extra landscapings and feel there should be a little buffer, like 5 feet, to have landscaping on the parcel in case the state uses the layout. You also have residential abutters in the rear. There are 2 buffer trees that should be retained. There are not enough of the required tree sizes around the site and need a variety of native tree species. Hal indicated that he will try to save existing trees, and noting this is an existing gas station with a convenience store already. Mr. Martin noted that the 100% setback for the drive-through should be to the residential zone, not a residential home. Nancy Rayburn, the direct abutter behind the project, and has plans to move here and redevelop the family home closer to the project and will be directly impacted by the drive-through with noise and exhaust. There's also a tall building and 2nd floor walkway will look over the fence. She agrees it is a huge project and would affect their living situation. So unless anyone has any edits, I'm looking for a motion to approve these design review committee comments as part of the meeting minutes for the January 18th, 2022 design review committee meeting for the proposed development at 1276 to 1282 Route 28.
Motion
I
to
can make
approve.
that. Oh, go ahead.
Second.
So hang on one second. So I just, because we're remote, we just need to take a roll call. Charlie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yeah, yes.
All right, excellent. One last thing and then we are done. All right. So I just need a motion to end this agenda item and adjourn the January 18th, 2022 Design Review Committee meeting at
So
5:06.
moved.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Second. I second it.
Charlie beat you to it.
Oh, he did. I didn't hear him. Does it count if I don't hear him?
So just a quick roll call. Charlie,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes,
and Sarah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. We did good. Did everyone leave? So what's going to happen, Al, is I'm going to send these to you, these meeting minutes, and if you can just sign the last sheet and send that back to me electronically, we should be good. And move on to site plan review. All right.
Okay, I'm sure we'll
I
be.
hope everybody, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you, Kathy. Yeah, I just, I have a few questions and I'll probably be asking you if you don't mind.
Sure. And remember, this is design review, it's advisory.
No,
And
I
they have
understand.
Civic standards that they don't necessarily take into consideration that you're a redevelopment, like would be the case with zoning.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
all right,
Well, I
so.
hope everybody gets what they want.
Thank you.
Don't compromise for the neighbors, for the town, and for the owner.
thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Good
Thank
luck,
you.
everybody.
Bye, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.